Okay, number 6, page 9. Find the inverse, f inverse of x, of the function f of x equals 2 plus 3x divided by 4 plus 3x, if it exists. Okay. And I can't just think of the order of operations on x here because there are 2 spots for x, so there are multiple things happening at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the method of swapping the input and output place. Whereas here I'm going to write x instead of f of x. I'm going to write 2 plus 3 times the inverse of f of x. Okay, this is a whole notation. If you want to use y for now, you can. Divided by 4 plus 3. Instead of x, I'm going to swap it with f inverse of x. And I gotta solve for that. That's what I gotta solve for. How are we gonna do all that? So, manipulation of the equation and keeping track of everything. I have here divided by this entire statement. I want to get rid of this denominator by multiplying it on both sides. I know when I multiply 4 plus 3, f inverse of x on the right side, it's gonna cancel out the denominator, but I got to do it on the left side as well. So I'm going to have here x times, I'm going to use a bracket just because we have this parentheses here, 4 plus 3 f inverse of x, right? X times everything in there equals the numerator up here, 2 plus 3 times f inverse of x. All right, here I'm going to get 4x plus 3x times the rest of this, f inverse of x. Think of this whole thing as one chunk, all right? Don't separate them. And that still equals the same thing on the right side. But the nice thing now is I can combine like terms. Well, not exactly, not quite, not yet. But I know that this term here and 3f inverse of x both have what I need to solve for, so I'm going to put it on the same side. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of 4x on the left side so that both terms on the left side have f inverse of x. Okay, so I'm going to keep this over here, 3x f inverse of x. I'm going to subtract this whole 3f inverse of x on both sides, minus 3 f inverse of x. Okay, these are different. It won't cancel out because they have a times x right here. And that's going to equal, again, I want to get rid of this term on the left side so that both terms only have, or so that both terms have f inverse of x. So minus 4x here, minus 4x here. That's going to be 2 minus 4x. What I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out f inverse of x out of both terms. Divide 3x times f inverse of x by f inverse of x. I'll write it out here. Okay. Times, let me use a bracket just to separate from the parentheses. Here, if I divide this term by f inverse of x, I'm left with 3x. If I divide this term by f inverse of x, I'm left with minus 3. And that equals 2 minus 4x. All right, again, we are solving for f inverse of x. So, running out of space. I'm just going to use a little bit of this portion here. I'm going to be left with f inverse of x equals. Now, I want to get rid of this whole thing, everything inside the bracket, by dividing it on both sides. So it'll cancel out here, and I'll be left with 2 minus 4x in the numerator, 3x minus 3 in the denominator. Take a look at that and see, is that equal to any of the options given to us? We got f inverse of x by itself. That's exactly what we wanted. So, which one of A, B, and C is this equivalent to? You choose, and we're done.